Hey, what's cooking, Jay?
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us again today. Today we're making another one of our strudels. We had great response from our apple strudel, so now today we make an almond and cherry strudel. The same pastry, you find the recipe from the pastry on the apple strudel recipe. So the dough, all right. So the other ingredients you will require for the strudel is Morello cherries. You also require about 3 to 4 teaspoons of custard powder. And then for the filling, we're making a Frangipane, which is almond, sugar, egg, and butter. So you need 200 grams of ground almonds, 200 grams of caster sugar, 200 grams of butter, 200 grams of eggs, and 50 grams of flour. And then you need a little bit of cinnamon sugar and some flaked almonds for the top. All right? I have strained the 2 jars of Morello cherries, put one of the liquid from one jar into the pot, and now we bring it to the boil. I added 200 ml of water to the custard powder, and now we're going to thicken the liquid. We don't have to add any sugar or anything because it is sweet enough, and we like to keep the natural flavor. And then you just thicken it until it gets to the thickness you like. It has to be fairly thick because when we add the cherries, there's more liquid coming out of the cherries. And so they're going to thin the juice down again. All right? So if you can see, it's beautifully thick. Now we take the whisk away and we add the cherries. Okay, so the cherries, that's 2 jars, 680 grams in each jar. So now we just bring this to the boil. Then we put it in on a cold spot and let it cool down. Or if you have got an empty fridge, then you can cool it down in the fridge as well. All right? That's our first step for our strudel. Now we're having the second part of our filling, which is the Frangipane. So let's just mix the almond meal, the flour, and the sugar. And we just mix it all up. It's going to be a nice paste, and we can pipe it on, or you can spread it on, whatever you like, onto the strudel dough. All right, and then we add the melted butter. It's very easy to remember. It's equal amounts, 200 grams, 200 grams, 200 grams, and 50 flour. And then we've got the 4 eggs. And then we just mix it all up and turn it into a paste. And our next step will be pulling the strudel dough, like we did at the apple strudel. I've got my tablecloth I always use to do the strudel, and some flour. So we just put flour there, generously flour, so the dough doesn't stick to the tablecloth. Then we take the dough out. The dough is well rested, and it's very nice. Should be very pliable. When you let it rest for at least a half an hour, it should not be any problems for you to roll it out first. And always, as I do, roll it a bit and then flour it and turn it over. Yeah? So you won't have any issues with it sticking to the tablecloth. I always try to roll it out to a rectangle, and I roll it out as much as I can, and then I start pulling it. We start pulling it. So what we do, you can do this, but the most important part is use the back of your hand. Use the back of your hand, or like this, never use fingernails. Fingernails are the enemy of the strudel dough. Now, as you can see, I've pulled the strudel dough out nicely. You must be able to read the newspaper through it. It has to be thin like that, otherwise it's going to be too doughy. All right, so when you roll it up, then it's nice and delicate inside. All right, so the other thing is, I used to do this with my mum, so it's a perfect thing to do with your kids. So, and it's a bit of fun. All right, so next step, let's put the Frangipane on. So when the Frangipane is still a tiny bit warm, it's basically cold, but it's still runny. So now it's really easy to put it on, you know, like this. You can put it on in strips like that. Don't need a piping bag or anything. If it's firmer, then you might need a piping bag. So we just put it on like this. So now all the almond filling is on. Should just use a little palette knife. And we just spread it out a bit. Like that. Go to the edge. Otherwise you're not getting any filling on the outside. The same here. I mean the outside we're going to cut off anyway. Alright. And that is it. Okay, now I put the cherries in a little tray and I put it in the fridge for it to cool down quicker. And so now we just put some cherries on. It's very simple. You know, just put them on. Just make sure. It's like the scrolls we made. You just got to make sure that when you roll it up, there's some everywhere. As long as when you roll it up, inside, somebody will get some cherries. We also, because we like this pastry to be very tasty when we eat it, we put some cinnamon sugar on here. Okay? We put some cinnamon sugar on there, and the rest of the cinnamon sugar will keep for the outside. And we put a little bit of almond meal, so it absorbs a little bit of the moisture, but especially for here, it stops the pastry all sticking together, and it will be nice and flaky. All right. Okay, so that's it. It's just 50 grams of almond meal I added into the recipe. That's it. So next, we use a little knife and we just cut the edge. Like the same as we did with the strudel, because you don't want the thick part of the pastry. And really, it's hardly any waste. You could keep it and make another little thing, another filo, or whatever you wish to make. But really, it's hardly worth doing. Now, let's roll it up. Okay, now let's roll up the strudel. We do the same thing as always. We just fold the first one in. If it's stuck to the edges a bit. Unfortunately, the video just cut out, but it's the same as the apple strudel. You just fold in the sides, you roll it up until you get a nice, even strudel at the end. So now we're gonna put that on the tray, brush it with butter, cinnamon sugar, preheat the oven to 170, and we cook it for approximately 1 hour. All right, I'll see you when we put it in the oven. Now the oven is on temperature 170, and we'll put it in and put the timer on 45 minutes. And we see after 45 minutes, it might take an hour, might not. We'll see how we go. Okay, the timer has gone off. Let's take it up. Oh yeah, boy. It's starting to ooze out a bit, but that's just fine. So now we let it cool down and then we'll try it. Okay, now the moment of truth has come. Let's see what it's like. Nice pastry. Whoa. Look at this. Nice, moist, and cooked through. Might be a good idea to let it cool down for a bit more, but you know, sometimes there's no time to wait. The sweetness from the strudel and from the almond and a little bit of sourness from the Morello cherries, stunning. And nice cup of coffee, as always. Like, subscribe, follow us, leave a comment down below if you like us to do something else. You know, anything, maybe some Austrian dumplings. Sweet ones or savory ones, whatever you like, not a problem. Okay, I'll see you soon at Gunther's Kitchen on YouTube. Bye for now. So nice.